Okay, I'm back. I forgot to share with you guys one thing, and this is just a little bit of my daughter's journey with Plexus. My daughter her name is Ella, and she's 7 years old, and she's just beautiful. She's perfect, and I love her so much. And several years ago, she started having some health problems. Her stomach hurt constantly. There were times that she couldn't even get out of bed. This was when she was like 3 years old. I mean, for a 3 year old to not be able to get out of bed, you know they're hurting. She would tell me constantly, 8, 10 times a day, that her stomach hurt. She had rashes. She had um, her belly was always really bloated. Just a whole host of things, and um, no doctors really knew what to do with us. And so we went to a lot of different doctors, and nobody really knew what to do. And it wasn't until we moved down here in Houston, or to Houston in 2012, that I had done some research, and I really felt like she had celiac disease, which is an autoimmune. And so we finally found a doctor down here that would listen to us, and that helped us get her diagnosed because she did end up having it. Which basically, when you have celiac, you can't eat gluten. And so we pretty much overhauled our entire house and got rid of gluten in everything from food to seasonings to toothpaste to body wash, everything. It's everywhere. And so we did that, and she got so much better. And then several months into that, she started having symptoms again. Some rashes came back. She was really emotional, just at the drop of a hat. I mean, nothing would happen, and she would just completely lose it. She was really anxious. You could tell that her wheels were just always spinning, but she didn't know what was going on. And so she would act out, and she was just really struggling with friends, which, if any of you have seen your child struggle in any aspect, it's just heartbreaking. You don't know what to do. You feel like you're powerless. It's really hard. And so we started taking her to a bunch of specialists. You know, we knew she wasn't eating gluten, but there was something else going on. We went to a bunch of doctors, like medical doctors, and nobody knew what to do with us. Big surprise. And so then we started going to see holistic specialists and spent thousands and thousands of dollars. I can't even imagine how much we spent, on supplements and on doctor's appointments, because insurance doesn't pay for holistic doctors. And she wasn't getting better; she was getting worse. We then started having more of the rashes, which everybody called eczema, but then they would give us medicine for eczema, and that didn't work either. So we were really confused about that. But then we started having what looked like toenail fungus. Her toenails were yellowish green, and they got thick. And bear in mind, she's 5, 6 years old. And then they started becoming deformed. They were curling up, and she was embarrassed. She also started getting like yeast infections a lot. She would have stuff coming out of her ears, and they said that it was a fungal ear infection. Then we started having like buildup in her hair. Just all this crazy stuff, and we just didn't know we didn't know what to do. And so after I started with Plexus, I started hearing everyone talking about Candida. And I was like, what in the world is Candida? I have no idea. I've never heard of this. And so I started doing my research. The more I heard about it, the more I researched. And I started connecting a lot of dots. And I felt like, because of a bunch of antibiotics that she had been on, when she was younger for ear infections, and then add that in with the celiacs that she had and all the damage that had been done to her gut, just all those things working against each other, or working against her, I should say, had created a great environment for Candida to grow. And I really felt like she had a systemic Candida issue. And so I took that to a few doctors, and they told me I was crazy, basically, and that I was researching too much. And so we saw a few other holistic doctors and got her on these crazy diets and a bunch of really expensive supplements. and we were still having issues. And so then I don't know why it took me so long, but I'm hearing all this stuff about how our ProBio is so great for Candida, and it's specifically formulated to break it down. And so I thought, I'm going to start her on it. And luckily, she could already swallow pills, but I know a lot of parents who mix it in with yogurt or applesauce or something. And so we started her on that and a smaller dose of the BioCleanse, just trying anything that we could to, get this cleared up and to get our daughter back. She wasn't herself. And so we started her on that, and we went through some crazy die-off symptoms. She was just, her little body was so sick. But we kept going, and her toenails started clearing up. And, all of these issues that we were having with her started going away after we started her on Plexus. And now I kick myself because it took me so long. I felt like we needed to do what these doctors were saying to do, when all the while I had the answer in my cabinet in my kitchen. But Plexus has changed her life. As far as that goes, we definitely had a Candida issue with her, and it was affecting every aspect of her life. Socially, she was embarrassed by her toes, by her rashes, by everything. But guys, when your gut is messed up, it messes up a whole lot of other things. And once we got that figured out with her, we're still working towards it. We're still getting there, but she is so much better that, that alone has made me a huge, huge believer in, especially our gut health line, which is the ProBio 5 and the BioCleanse. So I just wanted to share that with you, just about her, because I think it's very powerful. I think there are so many people out there suffering, and, I feel like doctors want to put a Band-Aid on the outward symptom, the rash or the yeast infection, but they're not dealing with what's going on the inside. And I just think it's so important, and I think that above anything else is changing so many lives. So I just wanted to share that with you guys too.